Yeah, so Jenny is a song that was written about my sister, and long story short, there's a lot of elements to this story, but basically she was named after my Aunt Jenny.
Yeah.
Her name's actually Jenna, but my Aunt Jenny in college lost her mind. She literally just called home one day and said, "There's something wrong with my brain. Can you come pick me up?"
Right.
And so my grandmother went and picked her up. She was never the same. They had her tested for drugs, see if maybe she took something crazy or something was slipped in her drink. And come to find out, she just was incredibly schizophrenic, and a lot of times mental disorders or illnesses kind of rear their ugly head in kind of that college age in most people. So
Yeah.
she's been in a home and kind of completely checked out, like, for 30 years, just not even there. It's almost like the lights are on, but nobody's home. So
Right.
my mom named my sister Jenna after her because she was her first daughter. And I think it was kind of a redemption or a stab at redemption for, I think, maybe what she felt like she couldn't save her sister. So she had kind of a do-over with her daughter. And, you know, an unfortunate twist in fate was that my sister Jenna, as time passed, started making my mom feel uneasy. And as a kid, I never saw what the issue was because she was just my sister and she seemed normal to me. And in a lot of ways she was. But my mom was a little more intuitive, like most mothers are, and she thought something was wrong. And so as my mom got cancer when I was in high school, or I'm sorry, my sister was in high school.
Yeah.
She started going downhill, and towards the last year of her life, my sister was in a very, very bad place. She was not only escalating, I think some of her symptoms were escalating as far as it being a little more clear that there was a problem, but she was getting really into hard drugs and just the wrong crowd. And
Right.
It's kind of hard to decipher, I think, for a lot of people out there who have dealt with a situation that's similar to this. When you have a teenager, a lot of times you just think they're going through their rebellious phase, and for most people that's all it is. And so with Jenna, we thought that, you know, she was just going through her rebellious phase, and she was just going through it really radically. And so my mom stuck around a lot longer than she probably physically should have or could have. So she stuck to the bitter end to kind of help my sister get into a better place in life. And so when my mom passed away, it really sent my sister down an even darker path. And so for the last, few years, my sister has just been in and out of jail and rehab and has wrecked so many cars and just done so many things, but it's more and more apparent that she's got mental issues, and
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it is from doing copious amounts of meth and hard drugs mixed with it, or how much is natural. But what I do know is, people that are well and are at peace in their minds aren't the ones who go out of their way to self-medicate and do hard drugs and try to escape reality. And the people that are hurting are the ones who do many times. So this whole campaign that we're doing behind the song is really trying to kind of bring awareness to that whole topic and the subject, not just for everyone else pretending like we know the answers, but it's really for us as well, because I honestly, this is probably the most difficult, foggy situation I've ever had to navigate is my relationship with my sister. Because if you've ever dealt with somebody who's mentally ill and or an addict, it's very, very hard to get through to them, and it's also very hard to know how to actually be something good in their life while also having boundaries.
Right.
Because there's this quote that says, "Givers have to set boundaries because takers rarely do." And I think a lot of people find themselves in that situation, much like you see on shows like Intervention, there's always a family member or a friend who's going through something like that. So as we went on the road and people would tell us their stories of how Jenny related to them, it was very apparent very quickly that almost everyone we talked to knew someone, whether it was a family member or a friend, who was a Jenny in their life. And the degrees of separation were very small. So the numbers of people out there that deal with this are huge. Probably, I would say close to cancer, if not much greater than the number of people who deal with cancer, because just based on what I'm seeing on the ground. And it's just most people don't talk about it because it's kind of the skeleton in the closet for the family or whatever. And so we're trying to get people to start talking about it and not feel ashamed, because that's really the first step in solving any problem. It's when you keep it in the dark that nothing really changes, or we don't change how we understand it. So that's the first step, and this whole campaign is going to evolve over time, but that's where we're at right now, is just getting people to share their stories with the hashtag I Know Jenny.